What is going on, homies? It's your boy Stumped back for another Optc video, and in today's video we're talking about the new Sugo Fest that is just about to release on the global side of the game. That debuts the second verse unit to come to global, that is Ace vs Akainu, and this particular unit is absolutely bonkers. Now, hopefully most of you guys have been saving for this particular unit, and if you do have some gems, I would highly recommend summoning. This banner is actually really good, and the unit itself is just actually phenomenal. So in today's video, we are going to talk about the units, we're going to have a look at their banner, and then I've got a little bit of a showcase video for you guys, utilizing these two characters on JP against some of the Garbs challenges. So just so you guys can get a feel for how that burn mechanic actually works. So let's take a quick look at the Sugo Fest. So the Sugo Fest will be live in just under a day's time. There's a 12% chance of a Sugo Fest exclusive to appear, and obviously the new Ace vs Akainu is the new voiced character. So with the verse characters, we do get basically two characters for the price of one, which is really cool. There will be their new Luffy, Jozo, Aokiji, and Sengoku, also as what they are rare recruits, and they are very good rare recruits. Definitely want to get your hands on those. Another very good reason why you guys should be summoning here. Not to mention, obviously, that there is 12% rates. Now, there is only 2 parts. Japan had 3 parts, I'm pretty sure, but hopefully that means that we don't join part 3 into part 1 and 2. But they don't really have too much information on what the boosted Sugos are, what the limited Sugos are, and how many Sugos are actually going to be on each banner. So hopefully it's the same as JP, and they just cut out the third part. But I don't know if that will happen. But lucky for us Globarians, we do have much better steps. So the first multi is the 30 gem. It's already way better than Big Mom vs Kaido. The 2nd, 6th, 10th, 14th, 18th, 22nd, and 26th is a Sugo Fest or rate boosted character. Now, I'm not a big fan of these steps. The rate boosted character part there is just such a bait. You see Sugo Fest and you're like, oh yep, I'll summon, and then you realize that this is rate boosted as well. On the 3rd, 13th, 17th, 21st, 25th, and 29th, there's a guaranteed Sugo. The 4th, 8th, 12th, 16th, 20th, 24th, and 28th will be 1 gem multis. So 2, 4, 6, 7 multis that are 1 gem multis. So basically, you get the unit for 23 multis, which is way better than 25 and way better than 30 from what Big Mom Kaido was. On the 5th, 15th, 23rd, and 27th, there's a limited pool Sugo Fest, and the 7th and the 11th is a recommended character. Recommended character means the banner unit, so that you will usually mean that you're going to pick up a rare recruit, but if you get a red, you could get very lucky. On the 9th and the 19th, it's a super limited pool, and on the 30th multi, the last poster will be a new Sugo Fest exclusive Ace vs Akainu. So, you know your boy's going to be summoning. I will be getting this unit. I've been having so much fun with them on JP. And if you do want to see some content, let me know in the comment section below what content you guys would like to see me take on with this particular character. While you're down there, make sure to smash the like button for me. And if you're new, hit that big red subscribe button. But let's have a quick look at the character now. Let's see what these two particular units do. And then we're going to hop into a showcase. Alright, so huge shout out to the database. The link will be in the description for you guys. Make sure to check out the database. It helps you guys out significantly with team building and getting character info, especially if you are playing JP. So let's take a look at this unit. Let's break them down one at a time. So with verse units, if you guys aren't aware, at the beginning or when you are team building, you actually pick which character you actually want to be your leader. And unsimilar to Big Mom vs Kaido, these two units are completely different. Now, you can't actually run these two units together. With Big Mom vs Kaido and Shanks Whitebeard, you can easily hybrid the two of them up and actually run them as one Shanks, one Whitebeard, or one Big Mom, one Kaido. But with Ace and Akainu, you really don't have that pleasure. But it's okay, because it really opens the door for 4 different teams that you guys can put together with just 2 units as your captain. So let's talk about Ace first. So Ace is a shooter free spirit strength unit. His cost is 55, like all Sugo Fest exclusives. He has some pretty good stats in terms of his attack being around 1699. Their recovery is 283, and their HP is 4,354. We will get into their Rumble stats a little bit later. I do want to sort of talk about that later, but let's just talk about what the unit does first. So Ace, this is captain ability, will boost attack of shooter and free spirit characters by 5 times. Just a flat 5 rate, which is absolutely phenomenal. He also boosts the HP by 1.3, makes strength, dex, and quick orbs beneficial for shooters and free spirits, and he restores special cooldowns by 10 turns when they are rewinded. Now, I always forget about this with Ace, and this is something that they've sort of made a trend with Ace characters, that they're actually immune to special rewind, very similar to Halloween Ace.
If you get any special rewind, verse Ace will actually rotate it back. As a sailor, he makes strength orbs beneficial and gives base attack 125 to all characters. His special, the Fire Fist Ablaze Great Eruption Boil, deals 200 times his attack in typeless damage to all enemies, changes all orbs into matching slots, and amplifies the effects of shooters and free spirit characters slots by 2.5 for 2 turns, and if the captain's orb is strength, sets the chain boundaries to 2.5 and 35.0 for 2 turns. So very similar to Law's Chainlock, he can do the same thing, and he's also an orb booster, which is great because he can actually get orb manipulation as well. With his Limit Break expansion, he'll go down to 13 turns, and he does have his versatility. Now, his versatility will be able to be activated at any time when the crew consumes 12 Strength, Dex, or Quick Orbs. Now, that's for both Akainu and Ace, but Ace's versatility inflicts burn for 2 turns, and then boosts attack against enemies inflicted with burn for 2 turns by 2 times, changes block, bomb, T&D, recovery, G orbs, and own orb into strength slots, and that's about it. Now, unfortunately, this does not go through immunities, but the burn will deal 100 times enemies attack and typeless damage at the end of the enemy turn. So, with Ace, you basically have full board manipulation. You have a conditional boost that's almost guaranteed, provided there isn't full immunity. You have an orb boost, you have a chain lock. This unit can do a lot, and because he's a free spirit booster, you can actually put a lot of very, very good units on the team. And because he's strength, it opens the door to just so much with team building. But let's talk about the other unit now, and arguably the better of the two. So Akainu is a driven powerhouse unit. He is quick with a cost of 55, just like every other Sugofest exclusive. Now, driven powerhouse and global doesn't sound all that appetizing, but this particular unit is the start of something special on JP. For a very, very long time, we are going to get a run of driven and powerhouse units, and this guy is the king, or your captain, for basically all of their releases, which is really, really cool. His stats are the same as Ace, but his captain will boost the attack of driven and powerhouse characters by 5 times, flat rate just like Ace, which is awesome, 1.5 times HP, and boost the chance of landing on quick orbs, and then inflicts burn for 4 turns that will ignore all debuff protection after each turn you take damage. So that means if there's damage reduction, threshold, defense up, barriers, full immunity, partial immunity, it doesn't matter. If they hit Akainu with a preemptive or the enemy's turn, you will inflict that burn for 100 times that character's attack as end of turn damage. So you can bypass so many cheeky mechanics with this burn. There's a couple of new mechanics on JP that you can easily get around, and it can actually get around interrupts before the next turn, which is so cheeky. Just like Ace, Akainu will make quick orbs beneficial for all characters as a sailor, and then boost attack of all characters by 125. His special does 400 times his attack in typeless damage to all enemies, so it's double the damage as an initial shot, and then will change all orbs, including block orbs, into quick. He'll amplify orbs for driven and powerhouse by 2.5 for 2 turns, and he'll lock the chain multiplier depending on how many quick orbs you've used in attacks. So you can get up to a 3.5 times chain lock if you consume over 15 orbs with the Akainu. So you can have a chain lock, full orb manipulation, a bunch of damage, great wave clearer, locking chain. He just does so damn much, on top of being a 5 times flat rate captain and having a busted verse ability. Goes down to 13 turns, can activate verse with 12 strength, dex, or quick orbs. But the special ability, the verse ability of Akainu, is a little bit different to Ace's. His verse ability will inflict burn for 4 turns, boost the attack against the inflicted burn by 1.75 for 4 turns. So you get double the length, but not as much damage. But then he'll also make quick orbs beneficial for driven powerhouse units for 4 turns. Now this is really good because he gives you a full board of quick orbs, and because it's for 4 turns, it actually helps you guys get around mechanics where they make other orbs unfavorable. So you can do a lot of cheeky shenanigans like on Arena X-Drake and stuff like that. Basically, with their limit break, they both get enrage or reduce increased damage taken. They both get Barrier Pen, which is really good. Barrier Pen with that update got a massive buff. They reduce slot bind duration on themselves. They get another turn of cooldown with their key and a whole bunch more stats. In Rumble, okay, so in Rumble, this is what I really wanted to talk about. So in Rumble, I think we're looking at Ace here. Okay, sweet. So we're looking at Ace first. We'll have a quick chat about Ace. Akainu's the one that we really want to talk about today, though. But For Ace, he has 100% resistance to action 1, which is great, and 30% damage reduction to Dex. Level 5 special will apply level 5 attack up to strength characters, level 3 defense up to strength characters. For the first 40 seconds, applies level 5 attack up to himself. So, not a bad passive. The level 3 defense up for strength is much needed, but they just need some HP buffs, and they need a lot of help strength, unfortunately, when it comes to Rumble. At level 10, he's special on a 25-second cooldown, applies level 7 attack up to himself. For 10 seconds, deals 2 times his attack to all enemies in a large radial range, and when HP is below 60%, he deals another 2 times to all enemies. So, the lower your HP, you can do a lot of damage with this particular unit. Strength is all built around attack, but unfortunately, that is the weakest of the stats when it comes to Rumble. But let's talk about the next character, the big dog versus Akainu, and this guy in Rumble is an absolute weapon. 100% chance to resist action bind, which is amazing, and then obviously 30% damage reduction to strength makes him strong against the character that he's strong against, which is great. Level 5 passive gives 5 attack to quick characters and level 3 defense up to quick characters. For the first 20 seconds, he will apply level 5 special cooldown to himself and level 5 attack up to himself. So he gives himself 10 attack, level 5 special cooldown, and defense to the entire crew. 5 of that attack will hang around forever, and 3 is forever. Defense up is forever. The whole fight, unless the enemy removes it, of course. So that is very, very good passive. Much, much better passive than Ace, in my opinion. Mainly because his special is just ridiculous, and that special cooldown is so damn handy. At level 10, he's on a 25-second cooldown, which is very, very good, by the way. He deals 2 times his attack to all enemies in a large radial range. He then does 1.5 times attack in damage to strength characters, and for the first 40 seconds of the fight as well, he'll also do 30% damage health cut to all enemies. So the way this works is, in the first 40 seconds, you're definitely popping his special off at least once. Sometimes you can pop it off twice with that special cooldown and like Tessero on the team and stuff like that. But basically, you're going to do a 30% HP cut, 2 times his attack to all enemies in a large radial range, and then if there's any strength enemies running around, like Odins or Sweet Generals, any of those strength units, he's going to do another 1.5 times attacking his damage to strength characters. So he just destroys strength, and it's probably one of the big reasons why strength isn't running around at the moment. But nevertheless, with the release of Kaido and with all the driven powerhouse characters that are going to be coming out, this guy is just an absolute monster in Rumble. So that's enough about the character. We're going to hop over to JP now. I do have a showcase with Ace taking on the Doffy 1. We do have Akainu versus Enel, and then I do have a little PvP showcase at the end there. So let's slide over to JP now. So the first clip of the video is utilizing verse Ace against Doffy 1. We are using mono strength, all free spirit, so this is the team. These are the supports. Let's jump on in. So on stage 1, we come up against all of those marine enemies. Just take out the color that you guys are using for the particular bit of content. But the beautiful thing about Ace is he's actually a shooter captain as well as a free spirit captain. Now I really like that they sort of subtly buffed a lower class by sort of slapping it onto a very overpowered class. So free spirit's just a running riot. They have been for a very long time. So adding the shooter class there sort of just gives another dimension to the team building, which works out really, really well. And as a verse unit, you can actually access 4 different classes, which is really, really cool. On stage 2, the vacuum cleaner lady chick's going to give us despair, but we're just going to remove that with our supports. And then we're going to hit with our normal attacks to start building up the verse meter of Ace. With the verse meter of Ace, we can actually inflict that burn mechanic for 2 turns, and we get a 2 times conditional boost against burn. And in this particular piece of content, there isn't a lot of full immunity, which actually works in our favor significantly. On the next stage against Rebecca, she puts up defense up and paralysis. We're going to remove the defense up with the Vivi Rebecca special. Now, Vivi Rebecca aren't even really boosted on this particular team, but their switchability, their special, is very, very strong, and it just works amazingly, especially when you are running mono strength. We can remove paralysis with our limited rare recruit Julie Bonnie. And then with the orb buff that Ace can provide, we can easily take out Rebecca. Now, Ace gives a 2-turn orb buff, which normally isn't that amazing, but under like Roger and stuff like that, it actually can be ridiculously strong. And when you actually come up against stages like this particular stage, where there is no interrupt, you can actually get that carryover, and it helps out significantly for this particular fight against the Doffy 1, as we actually have that orb buff carry over against these Dressrosa enemies. We can use our orb buff with all the matching orbs that Ace and that the Captain Aces give us, as well as our ship giving us recovery and T&D orbs. and that way we can just sort of take out all of the one-turn cooldowns, do a lot of damage to the other ones, and then just sort of naturally stall on King Punch. Once we've done that, we can actually just take King Punch out, and we can move on to the next stage. Alright, now the King Punch is done, we can move on to the Bardo stage, and against Bardo he has a barrier. So this is where we can show off the burn mechanic of Ace, as the burn mechanic doesn't worry about barriers, damage reduction, thresholds. It purely goes off the attack of the enemy, 100 times that attack. We are going to remove the Despair with the Law special, but it's a very good example actually here, as when we actually attack, we don't have enough damage to actually take out Bardo, but with that burn mechanic after he attacks, it can easily take him out. Now you don't actually need to attack him for this particular turn. Well, you might need to actually get all of the damage, but as you can see with the burn, we do like about 2 million, which is just absolutely absurd. And with all the extra damage from our normal attack, we can easily take him out. Now on the next stage, we come up against Treble and 3 of his, let's just call him his mateys. They're going to paralyze us, which we can remove with our ship special and our Luffy Sanji switch ability, and then we're actually going to use our Ace's special. Now Ace also does a wave clear mechanic, 200 times his attack to all enemies, which is really, really good, especially for stages like this, because we need to take out those enemies in the back. And then we can actually use the orb buff to do a lot of damage to Treble. Now I do stall a little bit here on Treble. In hindsight, it's probably not essential, but I just wanted to make sure that I was at max HP, because when we move on to the next stage against Doffy and all of those lackeys, I really wanted to show off the burn mechanic from Ace. So that way I just want to make sure I have enough HP to tank all of the shots. So I do stall here, but if you are running this team, you don't need to stall here. You can just easily take it on that one turn. Use the Luffy and Ace, Luffy sub, wow. Luffy and Sanji, there we go, got there in the end. The Luffy and Sanji special to heal yourself up and get that attack boost as well. The thing about Treble is he does a HP card at the end of every turn now, so it's not exactly the easiest to stall on him anyway. Once we do take out Treble, we can go into the final stage against Doffy and all of those other those other, you know, they're not even Dressrosa actually, they're just like a bunch of random enemies. But they put up an attack up, and the units next to Doffy have a lot of defense. But the burn mechanic doesn't discriminate against the defense. So we can actually heal back up with Bonnie, we can get an attack boost with our Luffy Sanji, we have a chain lock with our Vivi and Rebecca, and then we can actually use the versatility of Akainu versus Ace, and then that way we can apply that burn mechanic and then wave clear all the enemies around the outside. So I'm going to shut up, let's listen to this. That was phenomenal. I love that. I love the verse ability animations. They just look so damn good. So once we have all of our buffs in effect, we're just going to focus on Doffy. As you can see, we have so much damage, we can easily take him out. We can actually take out the units in the front too. And then just with the burn, going through that defense, we are going to obviously take a shot. But with that burn, we just can say goodbye to their HP. And goodbye to Doffy 1. That was mono strength using verse Ace. Let's have a look at verse Akainu now. Alright, so taking a look at Akainu now, we are using mono quick against Enel. So this is the team, these are the supports. Let's dive in. Now, the best thing about using Akainu compared to Ace is Akainu can actually go through full immunity as long as you get hit, but then the damage actually gets accumulated before the start of the next turn. So it actually works really, really well with Akainu, because you take the hit, you give the burn, and then you can just watch the character melt, which is really, really cool. The downside to Akainu compared to Ace is stalling. Akainu can't really stall too much. As soon as you take that hit, he applies the burn to everyone on the opposite side of the field. And that burn does so much goddamn damage, it just melts enemies. And trying to stall out for specials and stuff can be quite tricky, so do plan your teams accordingly, as you do want to be very, very careful with how many stages you guys actually have to actually get that Akainu special popping. Ideally, you want to run a ship that can give you some cooldown. The Shark Superb is a fantastic ship for Akainu because he does things very, very quickly. Or you can use other ships like the Mama Shanta, like I am. The the Ho ship gives cooldowns, or you can use like the Zunisha to make the perfects easier if you're running more powerhouse-centric team. on stage 3, when we come up against Twiddledee and Tweedledum, we are going to use the special of our Akainu. Now, unfortunately, I forgot to let it play the special, so I don't have the Akainu special in today's video. I think I do have the versatility again, but we may or may not sort of sit through that again. We'll see how we go, but on this stage, we can see the absolute power that Akainu's special has. 2.5 times orb boost, as well as a 3 to a 3.5 times chain lock. It's just incredibly strong. Now, another big benefit of utilizing Akainu and it's shown right on this particular stage. Whenever there is a preemptive attack, Akainu automatically gives that burn, which means that you can just do significant amounts of damage after the first turn. And when characters are on like these 2-turn cooldowns that you can see here, the amount of damage is just absolutely ridiculous. 1.3 million free damage, and then we get our other turn. It's just absolutely absurd. Now, throughout this run, you could use Tessero special whenever you like as well. We don't actually use it at all. I just have him there because he's a striker and he gets boosted from Vivi and Rebecca, but I digress. On to stage 5, we come up against the dude on the ball, and I can never remember the Wingnut guy's name, but I just call him Wingnut. They're going to put up a threshold on the guy on the ball and lock onto him. Now, this stage can be a little bit tricky, and if you don't kill this guy on the first turn, he actually gives you an attack down. But this is another really good example of how strong Akainu's burn is, because once we actually do all of our damage, they hit us, we apply the burn does the damage, Bob's your uncle, 1.5 million or 1.45 mil to actually just destroy that particular unit, which is absolutely crazy. It makes sort of stopping interrupts so easy when it comes to Akainu, and within the new Garbs challenge, I'll try to remember to leave a little card actually for the worst generation. You can actually use Akainu to abuse that burn mechanic to get through that new debuff where you can only do a certain amount of damage in a turn because it's like end of turn damage. So he's just absolutely phenomenal with what he can do. Now on to the next stage against Gacha and Om. They're going to bind our bottom row, so this is where we're going to use our Sobermask special to remove the bind. And then we can actually use our other Akainu special. I really wish I let that play out, but look, it is what it is. Once we use that Akainu special, we can then use the versatility of Akainu versus Ace. That way we can just sort of automatically put on the burn mechanic and then start doing that extra damage that way. And then whatever's left, we can just let the burn sort of take them out. So once we've applied the burn, we get the 1.75 times conditional boost for 4 turns. The 4 turns is quite nice, because that way you can actually carry it into the next stage. The thing is, once with the 4 turns, is then you'll have the 2 turns for the next stage, so you can cop the hit and you still have the burn. So Akainu's design is actually really, really cool. I actually really like it. And he's sort of the start of the whole bad guy teams, him and Enel, I find, especially on global. Once we hit the final stage against Enel, we do get special minded. So this is where we have Vivi Rebecca. You can switch with Vivi Rebecca, get the chain multiplier buff, then use their special, remove the special blind, get the 2 times attack and 2 times orb to Cerebrals and Strikers. Then Sugar can turn everyone into bears, and Bob's your uncle we can easily take out. And also, the quick Akainu team is incredibly strong, and you can easily cheese things, even if you don't have a fully boosted team, just like this one. But let's move on to a Rumble match now and wrap up this video. And to wrap the video up, we are using Verse Akainu in PvP. So this is my PvP team. I am running mono quick, basically all legends, and it works really, really well. I decided to go up against an int team. Now this int team is actually fairly leveled. They do have Halloween War, Verse Big Mom, Moria, 6+, Capone. So it is a very good driven, int-centric team. And having Moria on the team is actually fairly scary because you can easily get all of your stats halved. But the amount of power that Akainu can output is just absolutely wild. I did have another video in Rumble for you guys as well that I do want to show off. I don't think I'm going to include it just because the video is long enough, but it did come up against characters with strength, so Akainu just absolutely melted them. But as you can see there, we aren't even 30 seconds into the match and Akainu already has popped off his special. He still does have another 10 seconds of his 30% passive within his special to do that 30% HP cut. And most of the time, if he doesn't get nerfed too much, he has had all of his stats halved because of the Moria special. But at this point in time, it doesn't matter because we've basically already won anyway, as we do have obviously all of our other powerhouses hitting their special. But as you guys can see there, Akainu just pops off so damn fast, and if you have Tessero in the team, because there's obviously some characters Global doesn't have, you can actually do some really, really cool things. Like some really, really cool things. So I hope you guys enjoyed this one. If you did, make sure to go down there and belt the like button for me. And if you're new to the channel, hit that big red subscribe button too. But guys, wherever you are in this beautiful world, please remember to enjoy the rest of your day. As always, homies, I thank you for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Lates!